if we go into our assets, we can actually create a physics material.
Oh.
And it's called physic material because, well, it's just Unity already reserves the word for physics material somewhere else.
That's strange. Alright, so create physic material. That's strange.
So yeah. And we're just going to name this ball bounce.
Ball bounce? I mean, I guess that's an okay name if you're a dork. I'm sorry, that was very rude of me. Ball bounce.
And we're going to want to set the bounciness to 1. We don't want there
Wait, actually has straight up bounciness? That's awesome.
to be any friction
No
because
friction,
that's just
that
going
makes
to
sense.
slow it down as it
Yes,
moves
right.
and bounces off of things.
And no static friction, okay?
And let's just move the ball bounce onto the ball. And bouncing.
So we just drag this straight up onto the ball. So the ball now has ball bounce.
Of 1 just means that it'll have 100% bounciness, which will allow it to completely and perfectly bounce off of different things.
Guys! You remember Sonic Spinball? We can make Sonic Ping Pong Ball. Holy shit!
So by clicking and dragging this onto the ball, it attached the material onto the collider. And you could have also clicked this little dial in order to put the ball bounce here. Alright, so I'm just going to collapse these just to ignore them for now. And I'm going to create a new script called the ball controller. Alright, create.
That's actually a nice way to do that. I like that. Ball controller. Create net. Alright. This is so disorganized. I love it. I feel like we need to zoom this in, maybe. We'll see. We'll see. Alright. I'm sorry, sir. Continue.
And add. And then let's double click so we can edit this script. What we're going to do with the ball is we're going to do a lot of manipulation with its rigid body. And by which I mean, well, we are going to modify its rigid body a lot in order to change its velocity. And we're also going to want to check its position in order to make sure that it is within bounds of the...
It should be. It should be 0, 0, 0. Yep.
The game. So, let's go into our script and just think of what is it exactly that we are trying to do. What kind of behavior do we want to see in our ball? Well, what I'd like to do is on start, the ball chooses a direction and it flies that direction. So that's the first thing I want to implement.
Yeah, lowercase that's
And the
C,
way
I
we
don't like
can
that.
get the ball moving is by modifying the velocity component, much like we did with the bat.
Right.
However, I want to do it a slightly different way. Instead, let's get ourselves a reference to the rigid body component. And this way we will not have to keep saying get component rigid body. We can just jump straight to the rigid body itself.
Right.
So we are going to say, actually let's just name this RB.
Arby's.
So this will give, so this is so we can get a reference to the rigid body attached to the game object. Alright, so let's set RB equal to get component rigid body 2D. So on start, I want it to choose between several different flight paths. So let's first just get it flying. So let's set the velocity equal to a new vector 3, and let's just launch it to the right. So to the right would be 1 on the x value, 0 on the y, and then it will be 0 on...
There's no space at the beginning. Okay, that's what I thought. Right.
On the z, because we never want to move the z value. Okay. Wait, there's a bit of an issue here.
What have you done?
So this is what I said meant when your console can tell you about errors that you made in their code.
Let's see if we can find out what he did wrong. Compiler error. What have you done? Line 15. What did you do wrong? RB equals get component rigid body. Let's see if we can figure it out first. Going back to our other code for reference. Oh shit. Yo, look at that typo. Holy fuck. Those are not, it's not words. Still bad though. Still bad. We still have an issue. 15.8. It's still an issue here. Okay, there's still a problem here. I think it's this. Because it had this highlighted, right? Rigid body 2D. Is it just rigid body? Would it be 2D still? I'm just gonna check this. Is that it? It was that. Yeah, dude, we didn't use rigid body 2D. We just used rigid body. Yo, dudes, I figured it out. Ah, we're learning. This is so good. God damn it, I love learning.
Code. In this case, I am trying to get a reference to a rigid body, but my code is looking for a rigid body 2D.
Yes!
And because of that, well, a rigid body 2D isn't a rigid body, so because of that, I get an error.
Yes.
So now that I fixed that, I should be able to enter play mode just fine. Also, if you get errors like this, you will not be able to enter play mode because Unity cannot understand what it is you're trying to do. Alright, so that ball just fell down because we forgot to turn off gravity.
Yep, I was just about to say. That seems about right. So, oh, that's very slow. Also, that didn't go. Okay. Sir, this is very, very, very slow. Set that velocity something first, alright? Also, screw this whole, like, that. Bless me. Bam, we're gonna launch this motherfucker. Oh, you fucked up! Alright, cool. We're launching it now. But I think we should make it bounce off the ceiling, right? Boop. Well, we don't have the physics for it yet. But it'll do it. And motherfuckers gonna get scared, dog. Hell yeah. Alright, cool. We're good. Pressing wrong buttons. Wait, what? Wrong buttons. This button.
Alright, now when I enter play mode, it should ever so slowly move to the right. Really should have
Actually,
made...
question, why 10F and not just 10? I am curious about why that is actually a thing. Like, why we need the actual F. I'm pretty sure it stands for frames. Or is that just force? No, actually not sure. F is a float? Okay, F means float. Okay. I'm thinking in video editing terms, I guess, because I'm a video editor normally. So, I think of F as frames. 10F just defines it as a float for compiler purposes. Okie dokie. Thank you.
Made it move faster. And now if I were to click play, it should be moving back and forth between the bats. Except it doesn't, because it's always going to be moving at a velocity of 8. Actually, no, it should have bounced.
Actually, realistically speaking, I never actually saw if I could bounce it. Is that gonna hit? Oh, well. I should probably change the velocity. Let's put this back here for testing purposes. Bounce it. There it goes. Slowest game of Pong ever. Alright, so why doesn't it bounce? But good enough, patio?
Oh well. So
Ah well, he gave up.
we at least got it moving so far. We can figure out what's going on with the not bouncing later.
Thanks, Alex.
But we at least have it moving. And I want there to be different possibilities for its initial direction of movement.
Yo, we gonna put in RNG! Oh shit!
So basically what I want to do is flip a coin to determine direction in x-axis. And then I want to flip another coin to determine its direction in the y-axis. So what can I use to flip a coin virtually? Well, Unity has a random function that you can pass in a range of numbers and it'll give you a range of numbers. So we have two possibilities for our x-axis. We have either going left or going right. So because of that, we're going to have range from 0 to 2, and this will either only return a 0 or a 1. So int x direction will equal this, and int y direction will equal this. Now you're probably wondering why it goes from 0 to 2 if we want 1 to be our biggest number. Well, the way this works when you pass in integer values is that it will cut off everything in the decimal. So let's say the random range number that's generated is 1.92319. It will chop this off and it will give us a 1. It will never actually give us a 2 because the biggest number it can print is ever so slightly under 2, but just still not quite. So just always chop off this regardless of how close to 2 it actually gets. And because of that, our range goes from 0 to 2. Alright.
That makes sense.
So what I want to do here now is create a vector3 variable. And let's just name this launch direction.
Oh shit.
And let's set it equal to a new vector3 just so we, well, create a vector3. We can change the values of it later.
I need to stop typing vectory.
So,
oh god, just
I want
stop.
to check
Oh,
if our x
so
direction...
bad. It's so bad that I keep doing it. It's such a bad habit.
Gave us the value.
Ah, fuck me. Alright. It's fine. It's just so bad. I keep fucking doing it. I don't know why. It's so bad.
Of 0. So
Yeah,
basically,
just
like,
close that off.
we
Always
flipped our
close it off when
coin
you make
and we
one.
got heads, and then we flipped our coin, we got tails.
Make another one for the one. Okay.
So if our launch direction is 0, then our launch direction will be going to the left. And if our launch direction is 1, we head to the right,
Negative
which will be
1.
positive
Negative 8.
X.
That's right. That's right. That's right. 8F. And this one would be launch direction dot x equals 8F.
Okay. And then let's check our Y direction.
Do the same for Y. Okay. I have a feeling I'm fucking shit up. Potentially. Semicolons?
And
No. Not the semicolons. Guys, I'm so bad with semicolons. Shit. Alright.
much like we did previously, we're only instead going to launch it based off of the Y. So now we're going to set the velocity to launch direction.
Velocity equals launch direction.
And that will launch it somewhere based off of these two values. So let me just comment up this code a bit.
Sorry. Check results of one coin flip.
That way, when I upload it, or when I share it to you viewers, you can easily just read this code in case you're having any issue.
Oh, yeah, confirm this.
So now let's hop back into Unity. We should be able to just continuously click.
Huh? Huh? Hey, it works. I mean, there we go.
Play and click out of play and see the ball fire in different locations. That time it was bottom left. That time was, oh wait, bottom right. Now it's bottom left. And I just realized something. Because of this, we really only have 4 different directions to go from.
Yeah, I noticed that.
It'll always go in,
So we can change
it'll always
that?
move one direction in the x-axis,
Kind of gross.
which is good because we don't want only movement in the y,
Yeah.
otherwise, well, it would kind of break the game.
But we want to
However,
change the Y.
Sometimes we want 0 movement in the y. So because of that, it would make sense for this to actually go from 0 to 3.
Oh, God.
That way, we will have 0 movement in the y for one of our possibilities. And it could also fire straight at one of the players rather than go.
Oh, shit. Okay. Don't get scared. It's fine. Just one more. Just one more on here. Okay? So all you gotta do. That's all you gotta do, okay, buddy? Don't be afraid. It's fine. If it equals 2, what do you want to do with this?
Going towards
We're just
an
in 0?
angle. So now I can click play.
Okay. I think we got that. Hey, we got a first try. Nice. There we go. But it can do that going to the left too, right? It should. We just got to get the RNG for it. just want to see it. I want to confirm. There's no reason it shouldn't. But I want to see. There we go. Phew. Nice.
And now, still firing at a corner. I do hope I get lucky and it fires. Well, it's got to fire upwards.
Still no bounce.
Okay, that time was up to the left. Now, hopefully it'll fire just straight. There we go. Okay.
Right now we're playing Pong with like a wet paper towel.
That pretty much determines exactly where it's going to go on start.
So now we got to go to update.
Now what I'm going to want to do is detect collisions and turn it around based off of a collision.
Oh.
So I think yeah, let's start setting up some boundaries.
Okay.
All right.
You're just going to make some walls with cubes?
Okay, so we're going to want boundaries in order to represent the top of the screen and the bottom of the screen. So let's create an empty game object. Let's set it to 0, 0, 0.
Okay. Create empty object. Oops. It's on 0 already.
Now let's just drag it up to the top. And I'm going to want a box collider. Make sure it's a 3D collider so we can actually, so our ball can actually hit it. And I just want to expand it on the x-axis so it's the entire length of the camera.
Man's a genius! Wait, how did he get it up there? Did he do anything special or did he just drag it? I'll just drag it. Who cares? We're like halfway into it. Okay. And... oh god, what happened? Oh god. My mouse. That's weird. Oh my gosh. There we go. Huh. That was freaking me out.
And that size is about 40. All right.
Wait, alright, so his is 40. How big is ours? 30. Okay, we're pretty close.
So
We're
I'm
a little
gonna
smaller.
name this top bounds.
Okay. Simple enough.
All right, so I'm going to copy and paste.
We're just going to drag it all the way down. God. I see, I clicked something and it was suddenly frozen for a second. Alright, there we go. Okay. Let's try this down again. Say about midway through there. Actually, I could just get it perfectly matching with this. 1075. I was 0.01 off. Now that ain't bad.
And then I'm going to place this on the bottom and name this bottom bounds. We don't have to check our left or right boundaries, and that's mainly because, well, we can just check if it goes some distance to the left or right, and then we can assume that one of the players has won. However, we do want to keep track of it when it's inside of this region. So we don't want it to break through the ceiling or the floor. We just want it to break through one of the sides of the screen, is what I'm trying to say. Alright. So now it's...
Do you know how to code? Do I? I didn't write this on my own.
Matter of making it so we can detect a collision. And I can never remember the name of this function, so let me pause the video and get the name.
Even the teacher doesn't know.
Okay, so much like start and update, Unity does give you other functions that you can call without actually... Well, Unity has other functions that it calls discretely. And one of those functions is on collision enter. And this function is looking for a collider, or it's looking for a collision.
He's so stressed. He's so flustered.
And this collision gives us data about what it hit with. Exactly what you hit. So,
okay.
Just to make sure this is working, I'm going to debug.log the information of the game object that we hit. So I'm just going to print the name of what it is that the ball ran into.
Okay, let's do that. So if this hits the paddle or the wall, it'll tell me. Top bounce, left bat. Nice. Working like butter on bread. Good. Okay, we don't need to debug it anymore.
And now let's click play. And it hit the bottom bounds.
The ball? Yeah, it's just a sad limp ball.
And it hit the top bounds.
It's great.
Okay. So then we have... Now, you probably noticed that the bounciness worked for the top and bottom bounds, but they didn't work for the bats for some reason.
Yeah, why is that, sir?
Part of me feels that it might have been an issue with the mass, so let's try making it an arbitrarily large number, just to see if that fixes it.
Big ol' mass. Look at that mass. Hey, it worked.
Good. And, you know, it does seem to be slowing down as it bounces.
And
now, part of the reason we want to detect a hit is so we can also reset its velocity. So, let's start working.
So wait, do we want to give this some thick fucking mass now? Alright, dude. We'll go hard. Thick fucking mass. Boink. That's some thick mass. That's a weird way to bounce back, dude. Huh. Alright, hold on a second. I've also noticed something, and it's bouncing... I need to change these bounds. There we go, that's better. Oops. There we go. There we go. Now it actually bounces on the edge of the screen. Okay, we got some pretty juicy mass.
On the on collision. So let me just comment this code so you can... Oh, did not want to do that. So let's just comment this code. So when we hit something else, if it was the top or bottom of the screen, I want to check if it was the top or the bottom that we hit, or I want to check if it was one of the bats. And the reason why I'm going to want to have these two distinct checks is because I want the behavior that the ball does to be different when it hits the top or the bottom than if it hits the bats. I want the position that you hit along the bat to change at the direction that the ball flies.
Okay.
Alright.